and mine would be to address the training needs for genetic biocontrol products in Africa. And from the 3 days we've had, most speakers have mentioned, they've touched on stakeholders in genetic biocontrol, and as we realized then, would need specified or targeted training to those different stakeholders. And one thing we've done is the consortium is to try as much as we can to identify these stakeholders, put them in their various categories, and also find a way in which we can come up with programs which are specifically targeted to those specific areas. So as a way of introduction, I would say genetic biocontrol is basically a tool, or these are tools to do with genetics, and they are here to help us solve issues which are found in public areas, environment, and the likes. And training is therefore essential because we realize these tools are still being rolled out and would need training which is specific to the scientists, those specific to the developers, regulators, communicators, and all those other stakeholders, even the public, because they need to be aware about the kind of tools they are looking into so that they can prescribe, they can give goodwill so that we can get a buy-in. And because of this, then we would need oversight committees, which would basically play a role when it comes to capacity enhancement and also to do with the issues of governance. The stakeholders that we've identified so far can be categorized into 4. So we have the scientists and the developers under one group, and their requirements for training would be different from those who are the regulators and the policymakers. For the regulators and policymakers, we would have IBCs, we would have the politicians, and their needs as well would be different, and this goes into the issues of regulation, risk assessment, and also governance frameworks. Communicators as well as and journalists will also need skills in science so that they can be able to communicate the issues of genetic biocontrol in a way that the public can easily understand. Again, the communities we live in or the public will need to understand the kind of tools or products we are developing. And this is, again, because of the goodwill that we seek from them. They need to understand the kind of products we are giving them so that they can easily subscribe. In the consortium, we have a number of forums. And these are basically the oversight committees that we do have in a way that we try to address these training needs. So the first one is Forum for Environmental Practitioners in Africa, or FEPA. And this one is providing technical capacity for environment assessments and for compliance issues. So when we have a product going into the market, or let's say being released to the environment, this is the group that will assist us to understand the kind of technicalities we are looking into so that we ensure we comply. I remember in one of the presentations we had this week, it was mentioned that the regulators need to understand some of these issues so that we don't have the legal battles that we've seen across Africa regarding the aspects of genetic biocontrol. So if we can tap into the knowledge of such practitioners, then I don't think we'll be having any difficulties going forward once we decide to roll out some products. The second one is Institutional Biosafety Committees, or the IBC Forum Africa. And this came about because of the procedures which are outlined in the CBD. So once we subscribe to the CBD or we domicile the CBD, would be having institutional committees in those research institutions which look into the issues of genetic biocontrol. So those members automatically qualify under the IBC forum. And this IBC is to provide aspect of biosafety training and also train on issues of regulation across institutions and also developers who do research on genetic biocontrol. The other one is Research Ethics Advisory Committee, and today we are privileged because we have the chairperson who is the chairperson of the Research Ethics Advisory Committee. And from his talk, we understood that ethics are local, just as politics are local. And so it would mean the aspects of ethics to do with genetic biocontrol would also need to be specific to that region. It cannot be one size fits all. So we have to tailor make these issues, or we have to understand these issues as specific as they are. The fourth one is Regulatory and Risk Assessment Advisory Committee, which assists us in developing best practices for regulation and also training stakeholders on risk assessment ways. We had a talk from Justin, and we understand now we can use AI, and it can be assisting us along these processes. We can do risk assessment much easily, unlike before where we had to go through tons of paperwork and the likes. The fifth one is Science Communication Forum, and this one is majorly focusing on communicators, science and journalists alike. And we are trying to break the jargon barrier, the science jargon barrier, so that the public, who is the main target when it comes to developing these products, can easily understand the kind of work we do. And so within SciComm, the main objective basically is to promote the issues of transparency. We need to tell the public as it is, because the moment we introduce an element of mistrust, then that product becomes, the people will perceive it in a skeptical way. But the moment we come out right, then we are passing the right message and we are getting their trust. The sixth one is on women in genetic biocontrol. This one is work in progress. And it came about because we understood the kind of role women play in the society. Often this has been overlooked. I don't know for what reasons. But if you can look across the room, the next woman seated to you or maybe in front of you, they play a key role. And we didn't want to underestimate the kind of position women play in the society, and more so when it comes to the aspect of genetic biocontrol. Because you would realize when issues of malaria are mentioned, you mentioned the issues of children under 5 being the most affected by aspects of malaria, then that trickled down basically to the women all across the different sectors. So we needed women in this field to provide aspects of mentorship, leadership, and especially for those upcoming young ladies, and also be a role model in the society when it comes to issues of genetic biocontrol and basically eradication of diseases, and in this case, issues of malaria. Lastly, how we approach these issues or the kind of strategies we employ as the consortium is by having interactive workshops. We've had a number of workshops in the past 2-3 years. And we have online courses as well, and mentorship program. And mentorship program is where we pair a mentor and mentee, and then they can be advised on how to proceed on certain issues. So within the consortium, we have a registry or a pool of experts who we've categorized in different ways. So if someone comes about and needs assistance, then we are in a position basically to point them in the right direction depending on the line of work they are looking into. The other one is case study analysis on genetic biocontrol applications. And what comes to mind in this is mostly the aspects of legal battles we've had in Africa regarding the issues of genetic biocontrol. You would realize some of the challenges which has impeded the rollout of issues of genetic biocontrol is the legal perspective. We've had cases across Africa. And if we can learn from these, or if the genetic biocontrol community can learn from these cases, and especially for those areas who are yet to let's say, go as far as countries like South Africa, Kenya, Ghana, or Nigeria, then they can possibly be able to overcome some of the challenges those countries have experienced through the years. The other one is on policy dialogues and stakeholder engagement. And in this, we've been engaging, especially the political class, because we realize that is where the policies are being made. As to how fast this technology moves, basically relies on the kind of policies we have in place. Cross-disciplinary knowledge exchange through networks and collaborations. I think the statement is self-explanatory, because while we are here, we have scientists in the house, we have journalists, we have communicators. So we are basically consulting across the various disciplines. We want to understand from the journalists or the communicators how the scientists should be able to communicate the work they do. And as mentioned yesterday, if you say you are going to generate proceedings from such an event, then the politician might not necessarily be interested. But if you can basically point out the issues of benefit to the society, then at that point, maybe they can listen. So far, what we've achieved is the creation of several forums within the consortium. For one, we have the IBC forum, which is vibrant. And last year, in May, we were in Ghana for an IBC forum. We have SAICOM, this also vibrant as well. And we've had several webinars, several events as well. And you're welcome to join them whenever we are holding these events, more so the webinars and the online sessions. Ethics committee and the likes, these are doing well. Secondly, we've been able to conduct capacity building workshops across the Africa region. We've strengthened regulatory and ethical frameworks because we've been bringing on board several partners who are at different stages of implementation, say, of the regulatory frameworks and the likes. And through all this, we believe we've been able to improve public awareness and also stakeholder engagements in the much kind of work we've done. And we look forward to doing more and also strengthening all these aspects of genetic biocontrol. Then what are the challenges and what are the gaps? For one, we have limited funding for training initiative. The allocation of funds to these events or to science in general across the African countries is limiting. And if that kind of funding can be stepped up, then maybe we can cover some ground. There's also the challenge of harmonization of regulation across the Africa region. So the East Africa region would be doing their own thing, West Africa region will also be doing their own thing. There is a lot of fragmentation, but if we can read from the same page as a region, then maybe we can do much more than we've already done. There is public misconception and misinformation, and this has come out in several forums we've done, where the kind of work the scientists do is buried in so much technical terms that basically for a layperson picking out the right information is a big problem. And because of these big terms, someone would think there's something hidden within that kind of work. But if we come out clearly and communicate this as I've mentioned, then perhaps we won't be having these challenges as we mentioned. So the last one is now the low representation of women in leadership roles, especially when it comes to the aspects of genetic biocontrol. And it's because of such challenge that the consortium now has the group on women in genetic biocontrol. So we want to step up that kind of representation and ensure that we have a balance in the room. So the future directions, which we've observed as the consortium, is that we need to strengthen partnerships with the governments, non-government institutions, and all personnel. So we can't say that the aspect of science is not for the other groups, let's say the arts or the other disciplines. We need that partnership and we can achieve much more. So we need to expand funding opportunities as well. As it is, as I've mentioned, funding is low, but we need to see other ways in which we can get funding so that we can step up training programs. And through this, then we can enhance policy engagement and also streamline the issues of regulation by engaging regulators so that they can do the right policies. And lastly, we have to promote inclusivity. And this is when it comes to aspects of gender. Okay, thank you.